rewriting your story, breaking cycles, and building joy. Have you ever looked at your life and thought, this isn't the story I was meant to live? I think about that question a lot. The narratives we inherit, the patterns we repeat, the moments when we realize we're living someone else's script. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Cicely Howell, a visionary whose work has transformed thousands of lives across generations. Her insights on healing, community building, and breaking generational cycles don't just inspire, they liberate. What makes Cicely remarkable isn't just her wisdom, but how she's created pathways for others to reclaim their power after profound betrayal. Her work stands as a testament to what's possible when we refuse to let our wounds define our worth. One thing became crystal clear during our conversation: the most powerful act of self love is sometimes tearing up the script you were handed and writing your own. Your past does not define your future, Cicely emphasized. Those words hang in the air, both simple and revolutionary. For many high achieving women, especially those who have experienced trauma or abandonment, this statement isn't just motivational fluff, it's oxygen. But let's be honest, believing your past doesn't define your future is much harder when that past includes betrayal by the very people who were supposed to protect you. When family loyalty failed, when survival became your only language. During our interview, Cicely shared three powerful truths that resonated deeply. First, that your past doesn't define your future. Second, that you are never, ever alone in your experience. And third, that breaking generational cycles requires immense courage, but it's the most important work you'll ever do. Let's sit with that first truth for a moment. Cecily Haba's story illustrates this beautifully. Here was a woman who transformed her passion for sewing into a six-figure business called Soul Creative Lounge, but the journey wasn't straightforward. Growing up without access or privilege in her field, Cecily relied on resilience and resourcefulness, qualities that many who've survived difficult beginnings understand intimately. She began with limited resources and faced constant doubts about whether her personal skill could become sustainable income. Sound familiar? How often do we question whether our gifts are enough when we've been conditioned to believe we ourselves aren't enough? But instead of letting those doubts define her, Cicely leveraged virtual events like the Virtual Sewing Summit to reach broader audiences. She built supportive communities around shared interests. Her business generated $100,000 in revenue, and she became a model for entrepreneurs seeking financial independence through creative pursuits. What strikes me most about Cecily's journey is how she refused to let early limitations dictate her future possibilities. She didn't just survive, she created, she built, she thrived. And that brings us to Cicely's second truth: you are not alone. There's something profoundly healing about knowing others have walked similar paths, that your pain, while unique to you, is understood by a community who face similar struggles. Cicely Majid's work with Rainbow Universe pageants exemplifies this community building approach to healing. Her program, designed as an inner beauty pageant system, motivates youth ages 13, 24 toward excellence. But it's so much more than a pageant. Many participants come from backgrounds marked by trauma or marginalization. They struggle with confidence due to family instability or societal pressures, struggles that echo through the lives of so many who've had to be strong for too long. What makes Rainbow Universe pageants transformative is its emphasis on inner growth over appearance. It offers mentorship, leadership training, and safe spaces for young women facing adversity. Participants report increased self esteem and a sense of belonging. Several alumni have become advocates themselves within their communities. Majid was inspired by her own journey overcoming obstacles as a young woman lacking traditional forms of support. Her work broadens conversations about what it means to be seen fully, inspiring both individual transformation and cultural change. This is what community healing looks like. This is what happens when we say, "You are not alone in this." But perhaps the most challenging truth Cicely shared was the third. Breaking generational cycles is courageous work. Let's be real. Choosing independence, self worth, and refusing to settle for unhealthy relationships, especially when you've been conditioned to accept less, requires tremendous strength. It means examining patterns that may go back generations in your family. It means making different choices, even when those choices are difficult or lonely. Cicely Roberts' journey toward mental health and work life balance illustrates this beautifully. She publicly shares her commitment to building the life she needed after facing mental health struggles linked with overwork, struggles likely compounded by earlier unresolved pain. Robert struggled balancing ambition with emotional well being after years spent proving herself amid personal and familial challenges reminiscent of abandonment themes. Her solution? She adopted boundaries like instituting a 4-day work week, prioritizing rest and healing over external expectations. The outcome was transformative. Her mental health improved significantly. She modeled new paradigms where success isn't achieved at the expense of one's peace. Roberts recounts constructing stability with no easy feat, echoing how many survivors must carve out comfort and safety absent foundational support systems. She achieved financial security while working less and used her platform to normalize conversations around mental health among professionals. Most importantly, she encouraged others, especially those carrying hidden traumas, to value themselves enough not just to survive, but to thrive on their terms. This is what breaking cycles looks like. This is what happens when we say, the pattern stops with me. During our conversation, Cicely challenged listeners, especially those holding on to pain from childhood betrayals, to take one small step toward reclaiming power today. That might mean reaching out for help, sharing your story safely with someone trusted, setting firmer boundaries in relationships, or simply reminding yourself daily that you are more than what happened to you. Choose yourself first, she said. You deserve it. Those words hit differently when you've spent a lifetime choosing everyone else. These insights offer a roadmap for moving from constantly grinding to finally grounding in joy, peace, and self prioritization. They remind us that dropping the Superwoman cape isn't just about avoiding burnout, it's about reclaiming our authentic selves, learning to say no without guilt, protecting our peace as a practice, finding purpose beyond pain. When we spoke, Cicely emphasized that healing isn't linear. Some days you'll feel strong and purposeful. Other days, the weight of old wounds will feel overwhelming. Both experiences are valid. Both are part of the journey. What matters is that you keep moving forward, one small choice at a time. That you surround yourself with people who affirm your worth. That you practice self compassion when old patterns resurface. I want to leave you with this. We stand at a crossroads in human history where the old ways of being, of pushing through pain, of sacrificing ourselves on the altar of productivity, of carrying generational trauma as if it were our birthright, are crumbling before our eyes. The invitation before us isn't small, it's revolutionary. What if your most radical act isn't what you achieve, but how deeply you allow yourself to heal? What if your greatest contribution isn't what you produce, but the cycles you break? What if your most profound legacy isn't what you built, but who you become in the process of reclaiming your story? Here's my challenge to you. Tomorrow morning, look in the mirror and ask yourself one question: what would I do today if I truly believed my past doesn't define my future? Then do that thing. Take that step. Make that call. Set that boundary. Write that first page of your new story, because you were never meant to just survive. You were meant to thrive, to create, to experience joy, to rest deeply, to love and be loved well. Your healing isn't just personal, it's political, it's cultural, it's revolutionary. When you choose to break a cycle that's run through your family for generations, you're not just changing your life, you're altering the course of history. So take that first step. Find your community, summon your courage. Your past brought you here, but you get to decide where you go next. The world is waiting for the story only you can write.